The citrus trees, you never know how they fare in these kind of weather events. I mean, you could see the ice encapsulating the leaves. Now, I don't think this killed these trees, but tonight we're gonna have another freeze event. You can just see the discoloration. Like like these leaves will probably die, but the tree is probably still alive. It probably didn't burst this. This is what freezes. If it freezes the stem and it expands and it bursts the stem, then you lose the tree. That's how it works. If you lose the leaves, they'll grow new leaves back. It will do that. But it's when it bursts these stems, and I don't think it did that last night. But tonight it's supposed to get even colder, so I'm gonna cover this and try and save this tree. And usually the ice forming on the tree is its own insulator. Believe it or not, ice insulates it. But this is gonna melt off by the end of today, and these trees are gonna have a fit tonight. It's gonna be rough on them. We're gonna lose all these kumquats. These kumquats are done for. They're not gonna make the freeze. They're gonna freeze solid through and through tonight, which stinks, but that's the way things go. But I'm just hoping we don't lose the trees themselves. Well, hello everybody. This is I'm gonna kind of document how these trees fared after that very horrific freeze we had. As you can see, they don't look too good, but I have a strong suspicion that they'll bounce back. You can see a lot of leaves already on the ground. Look how terrible this orange looks. That looks horrendous, and that's what happens if you hit the leaves. They're just gonna all fall off. All the leaves will fall off here. They're done for. But there might be a little splitting in the branches, but as long as the branches didn't split, you should be okay. So this is the kind of stuff you want to make sure. I cut this branch a long time ago, but you want to make sure you don't have any of this kind of stuff happening. This is where you're going to get some rot. And I just got this holding this tree. Let's see if yeah, it's really not doing anything anymore. I just was using this to shape this tree. This tree was leaning that way, so I'm going to let that go. And I'm hoping, and I'm pretty sure they'll put some new leaves out, barring any more freezes. Now, this is only February 2nd, and I'm out here in shorts. We're warm. It's really nice and warm right now. But it's going to be a few weeks yet before we know. A few weeks, maybe a month, before we really know how these trees really fared out. You can definitely tell this is going to have to be cut back, probably up into this range. I might even cut it back to around here. We'll see. I want to see what happens. This poor lemon took a heck of a beating, and this is all dead. I'm going to have to cut that back down, way down to the ground. I think I'm only going to save this branch and maybe this branch, and I think I'm gonna cut that whole center out of it, because I don't like the way that looks. See that bark is all dying and dead down that center? That's not good. Kumquat's doing all right. It handled the freeze rather well. It took everything well, except for all the fruit is totally ruined. I mean, that fruit is, that's just squishy, mushy, nasty stuff. And here's one of the younger satsuma trees. Looks okay. I mean, it doesn't look okay, but I think it'll it'll put out some new leaves. Again, here we go. One of the moderate aged ones. You gotta look down there and see how the stalks are doing. That's the trunks. Doing all right. This one has a lot of lichen on it. I don't like that. But other than that, it's doing fairly well. This one took a beat. Yeah, see, the base of that one looks real good. Now, this is my really good tree. Always produces the most. But I have an issue right here that I don't like, and I don't see how that bark is blistering a bit. I think it took some damage here, but it's healing itself over, so that's all right. But you see that? But it's healing itself over, and this is a strong, good, healthy tree. It's gonna make it. See, here's some more blistering going on. That's not good. Alrighty. Yep. That's the satsuma trees over here. It's Saturday, February 17th, I believe. It's either the 17th or the 18th. But I wanted to show y'all what's going on with these trees so y'all can see the next succession. So, you see that right there? That's some new growth coming out, believe it or not. Let's see if I back up a little bit and get it. But this right here, you can see right there, right above that. That's a little new growth coming out. Right there. All along this tree they got that. Everywhere, right here. That's all up in there on the satsuma tree. I'll be willing to bet it's on my orange tree too. Well, I surely hope it is, but let's see, right here I can just barely see some right there, right behind my thumb. And then up and down that branch right there, there's definitely some new, there's definitely some right there. So that's just barely starting to bud out after that hard freeze that we had. And I can see it in the little crevices right here. Right there, see a little bud of growth coming. And we got some cold weather today. It's cold. I mean, for our standards here in the south, it's cold. I think we're in the 50s all day today. We may drop into the 30s tonight, but it's supposed to be 30s by tomorrow. But it's looking like if it's going to get to freezing, it's going to just barely touch 32, and that's not gonna really sock it to these again. These can handle that. The new growth might be a little hard on them, but it'll be all right. This is the lemon tree, and I can see new on there too. I had to cut this back severely. They had some bad looking growth on there. That one branch going out to the side that you're following there, that's probably not going to make it, but I'm letting it grow. And the other ones coming up from underneath are doing pretty well. So let's see how they do. The kumquat tree is doing fine in itself. I mean, you still see the sporadic rotten ones left on there. The deer was all up under here eating them the other day, all the ones that fell. So see this younger tree here? See, look at the new growth on there. You can see it right. Look, yeah, right there. Beautiful. Let's see. Right there. If I come back a little bit more, you can see it better, I believe. I think the focus on this, see it on that branch? Look at that. It's almost, look, the leaves are almost discernible. And pretty soon, these are gonna put out buds for flowering buds for fruit. Even without the leaves like this, they're gonna do that. They ain't supposed to lose their leaves, but that freeze was pretty powerful. Drinking my coffee too. And most of the leaves are gone from these trees. Yeah, I see new growth on there. As long as you see that new growth, they're fine. And that's what happens to citrus trees when you're on the borderline of their growth zone. And we used to be a lot warmer. For years we were warmer. We didn't have near, it retained a few of its leaves, believe it or not. But we were warm for about 2 decades. For about 20 years, we stayed warmer than what we are now. We're getting colder weather, but more harsher cold fronts. But then the summers are brutal with the drought we had. So I'm gonna come show y'all some other stuff that's going on. But the heck, man? Donkeys yelling, dogs squealing, roosters crowing. Sound like I'm out in the countryside. I really am. But look, that's how the citrus trees are coming back, and that's how they're gonna do it. So a lot of you people who are scared or worried about the citrus trees growing, they can make it. But that's what I always say. Once they get to their 3rd year, you don't have to baby them as much. They start to do much better on their own. Now, it's got to be pretty much 3 good years of growing. It can't be 3 years where they got nailed every year like in the past 3 years. Because I got some 3-year-old trees. I'm coming to put my coffee down over here by the house. And my wife is starting her flower garden. She got on board with me with wanting to do a flower garden up here, but we did this little device right here. The chickens would come and eat this garden, and the squirrels and the rabbits were eating in here, and even the deer were getting in here. That little thing right there, that thing works, man. They don't eat. Sweet olives putting out new. You wouldn't think this was spring coming with the, well, I mean, everybody knows spring can be cold too. Hydrangeas putting out new. Look at this beautiful rose. That rose is off of a clipping. This rose plant, I took a clipping from a restaurant we were at, and it was on my mother-in-law's birthday. That's a clipping from a rose, and that's from a clipping. So things are starting to do well now. Those clippings are actually several years old. The deer and the rabbits and everything was coming and eating them down. So they got that little light sensitive chirping thing. Got that off of Amazon for about 20 bucks. That thing works, man. We're gonna buy probably about 20 more of them. So to put throughout the property, because they really do work. Now let's see this. So this satsuma tree. This is the one that has really bad wood. You can see that's not good. That's horrible. But they got a good branch coming on here. Now I'm gonna show you. You can see the difference. You see the good wood growing over the old nasty wood. That's rotten wood. That's split wood. Well, the tree will heal itself and grow over that, but they're always going to have some dead rotten wood underneath there. So I'll have to clip this back. You can actually see it real good right here. See this little? Get rid of this. See these little wounds? It's like little wounds. And see how it's healing over them? See, that bark, you don't want it to splinter like that. That bark starts splintering off, and that's not good. But this tree took a beating, but now it's healing itself. See that? See how it's healing itself? So this tree's gonna still produce for me, and I gotta baby it a little bit, but it's gonna give me some satsumas still. And let's have a look and see if we can see any new growth on this one. I don't see it as prominent. This branch right here has got to go. This is a dead branch right here. Well, I say that, and I see some green on it. We're gonna see. We ain't gonna quite cut that one off yet, because I see this old green right here might, even though it's dark and dead at the top, there's green right here. But that branch is a lot dead. I need to take this whole branch off here. Look, that's new growth right there. So this tree has definitely got some new life into it. This branch is a good branch here. I need to take the tips off of this branch. I'm gonna have to cut this branch back about right here. Same with this. This is dead wood right there. That wood's dead. You want to get all that dead wood out of there. So, but this tree took it harder than any of the other trees, and I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna see how they got that sprout off the bottom right there. I might have to cut that whole other side down and have branches come off of it. But that's how it works, you know. You want a new branch to start at the bottom. Look at all this new beautiful growth right there. That's good stuff. It's gonna grow, and it's gonna make more satsuma. Nice, huh? See, that's a little bit dead right there. That branch is dead back to about right there. Yep. Back to about, no, look, so look, I bet you it's dead all the way to here, because that looks like really, it's split and splintered and blistered. Yeah, I'm gonna take this off right here, this whole right behind here in this fork. I'm gonna take that off, and hopefully that side can grow. Hopefully that'll heal and be good. So that's how citrus does, and my wife is trying to help them out by mulching, pushing up. If you insulate the base of them, you can keep that alive in cold storms, and that's another way to protect your trees at the base, which I hadn't done in the past few years, and just get so busy and forget to do stuff like that. But she's really helping out a lot, and she's raking up leaves and putting them where they need to be right now. So, alright y'all, I'm gonna do another section in documenting what happens to these citrus trees after incredibly hard freeze. So earlier this year, if you've been following along, you know that these trees got hit pretty hard. We had temperatures go down into the mid-teens, if I remember exactly correct. It was the mid, not lower teens, but the mid-teens, like 15 degrees. And I was telling y'all I was pretty confident these trees would come back, but look, this is how well they're doing. Look at all of the buds. That's flower buds, that's fruiting buds on there, in addition to the new leaves that are coming out. See all these new leaves? And they're just everywhere, but there's also flower buds, which is going to be fruiting buds, which that's where all the satsumas are going to come from. So there's going to be quite a bit of satsumas on this tree this year, I believe. Now, the flowers can fall off. The tree will only maintain or retain the amount that it thinks it can handle. Here's the orange tree. A little bit harder to see some of the new sprouts coming on, but there's some right there. there, and then down here definitely easier to see. The closer you get towards the bottom, the more you'll see. But it's sprouting all the way up to the top over here, way up to the tip top. New sprouts everywhere you look. So the orange tree is definitely coming back, same as the satsumas. I don't see any flowers quite yet, but that doesn't mean there won't be any. Doesn't mean there will or won't be yet. It's just it's a little bit behind satsuma, but certainly got new growth, and it's not dead for sure. For sure the orange tree is nice and alive. I don't see anything that looks like little flower buds yet though. So, and we may not get any. It may put all its effort into restoring its foliage. Okay, let's go see this little lemon here. I think I kind of cut this a little down too close when I cut the rod off of it, but you can see the lemon is definitely coming back. Even on this, see how I cut that and it goes down to here? Even that's coming back. I should have left a little bit more branch, but this is coming back right here on this branch. It looks good. It looks good. This tree really has had its own issues, but it's gonna come along. It's gonna come back. And you know, just all of the satsumas are really coming on strong with new foliage coming on this tree. I don't see any flower buds on here, any fruiting buds or anything like that, but this is a younger tree, so it might be a little bit behind. This is a little bit older tree, and it's definitely coming back with some new foliage. I don't see any apparent fruiting buds, but it's definitely, oh, there you go, that's a flower bud right there. That's gonna be a flower, and that's, you know, it'll be maybe a satsuma later on. This one's put out, it's had one really nice year of fruiting, but most of them were so. We never know, you know. It's still got a few weeks left before we see what's gonna really happen with the flowering stage. They flower in March, and then they put out there, I see another fruiting, a flower bud right there, if you can catch it. But they flower in March, and probably March a little bit into April maybe. And then after that, they put their fruit on, and then the fruit gets ready. I have seen the fruit edible as early as July. It's really tart, but you really don't want to eat this till maybe October, and maybe September, October, November, and then December and January you're really pushing the limits of where it can go to. But this tree's doing well. It's coming back. It's a younger tree, but I don't see any flowering aspects to it, but a lot of leaves coming back. So these trees really took a hammering on that winter storm, but they're doing great. This is an older tree, and look at all the fruit and flowers on there. Oh, all the buds, all kinds of them. Woo, this one's gonna have some satsumas on it. Yes, indeed. Oh, the green. It's easier for me to see the green coming on through here with my eyes rather than with this camera. But it's see all those little round ones? That's the flowering buds. So it's just looking really good as far as this tree is gonna put out some good fruit. They're ready to come back. They're ready to go. Been a very good spring for them, and it just looks like they're ready to rock and roll. Now that's a beautiful. I don't see any flowers on that one right there. But let's see. A couple little right there and right there. See, it doesn't take much to put enough on here though, or enough fruit on here, because they usually put out way more flowers than what they need, and then they'll start falling off. I see some there. Doing real good though. Really, really good. So that's citrus coming back after a nasty winter storm and doing really good. Doing really well. I got some of that. I hope that's not that canker stuff. I hope that's just a wound and it's going to heal over. Because this is my best tree. And it's got all kinds of flowers coming on. It's going to be great. Alright, y'all. That's the citrus over here. Go look at some more. Alright, y'all. This here isn't citrus. This is the figs. Y'all can see I really significantly cut back the figs this year. Really cleaned out underneath them. I probably could have cut that one back a lot more, but I wanted to do this one in front first this year and then maybe that one next year. I did cut a lot of it back down, and then I did clean up underneath it a lot. I see stuff growing underneath there right now. I gotta come in and cut little oak trees, and I see looks like a elderberry's growing under there. I really don't want that under there. But yeah, little figs coming out already. Little tiny figs. See them? So hopefully we have a great fig year this year after trimming these up. I really trimmed up everything. Kind of cleaned them up a lot. You can see the cut. But I did some cutting. I cut last year on this one, and this year they had a lot of rot in there. A lot of bad stuff was growing in there. I took it all out and tried to maintain a little bit. This one, I really went into here, and there's only that one main branch coming out of here that I'm letting go. That's an elderberry that volunteered right here. I'm not sure if I like it there or not. But see, there's another branch coming off here. You can see a buck rub that tree. Can you believe a buck came and rubbed this fig tree right after I cleaned it all up nice and neat? But anyway, they'll have sprouts come off of this bottom if it's still well alive. Now this is the other lemon tree. This one was doing all right, but it really took a banging on that. It really took a hammering on that storm, that freeze. I don't see anything coming out at the top right here. There's a little bit of a leaf coming out right there. So, but at the bottom, for sure, there's new growth coming out. For sure, there's some new growth right there. Very small though, very small. But that's a new leaf right there. And that's not too much coming out right now, but this one's gonna be fine. I know for sure this one's gonna be okay. I can tell by all the green in the stems that it's gonna come back, but it's just taking its time. Lemons tend to take a little longer, and I probably need to have, I should have more sun on this one. But I put it here to be protected from the wind too. So it did great last year once it took off. So we'll see how it does. It's a work in progress to see how these do. This is a Maya lemon. So their cold hardiness is, I mean, I am way at the most northern limits of possibly growing Maya lemons in the ground. So we'll see if I can. It's I don't know how well it could be done over here. I'm north of the lake, South of the lake, they grow just fine. North of the lake, and I'm pretty far north of the lake. It's kind of hard. I'm risking. Okay, let's move on. All right, this is the last citrus tree I have, and it's doing pretty good considering where it's been to. You can see there's a lot of sores on it. I don't know if that's that canker or not, but the tree wants to live. It's got some stuff I still need to cut out of it, but we're gonna let it do what it's gonna do. If it heals itself, it heals itself. You can see, like, that's a growing branch, but right there, I think that branch has pretty much had it. So I'll come and cut that off and cut all this old wood off. So anything that's not growing like that branch, I don't know. It looked like it might have some green in it up in here. I don't know. We'll see, but it's probably gone. So I'm gonna cut that out of there, but you can see this is growing. And this is, see, that's got some of that stuff in it. I don't know. We'll see. It looks like it wants to heal itself. It looks like it's not growing because of that piece right there is rotten, but the rest of it, we'll see. That's got some new growth on it right there. I might just have to, you know, cut it off somewhere up in there. We'll see. This is dead. This is dead. So I'm gonna come cut all this dead stuff out of here. This is dead, but you can see that's very much alive over here. Very much alive with new. Now, I don't see any flowering buds or anything like that, but we'll see what this tree does. It's been through, it's had a bad couple years, so we'll see. We'll see if it comes back. And I'm gonna baby it. I'm gonna baby it a lot, and we'll see. All right, hello y'all. This is me back again. This is March 19th, I believe. Yeah, and we've definitely had our last cold go around for the year. Last night it got down to right at around 33, 32 degrees for the low. So this is the last really cold snap we're gonna get, I can safely say, in the south, and this really wasn't that cold. I wanted to document what we have. This is going to be the last part in the series of documenting how citrus reacts to a freeze. Different citrus trees react to a freeze in zone 8B. And what I want to show y'all is look at all the new leaves coming back on these satsuma trees. This tree had pretty much lost all its leaves. That's like one that stayed, two right there. But basically, this whole tree was devoid of leaves. And y'all saw as they started coming on, how they came on. But look at these little blossoms all over. This tree is full up with little blossoms everywhere. So nice to see. It is going to be a really good year for citruses. Now, for this citrus tree. Now, I want to show y'all a couple things. And I want to tell y'all a couple things. A citrus tree is only going to hold as much fruit as it thinks it can handle. The tree knows what it can handle, and it's going to discard the larger parts, the larger majority of these little budding flowers instead of making satsumas. So you're going to lose a lot of these. It ain't going to, not every one of these is going to turn into a satsuma. Now, one thing I want to show y'all is on this tree, I started getting some of this. I don't know if that's that canker, but if you look, you see how the tree is healing itself and growing over it? Citrus trees will do this, and it can be a cause of alarm for some people, but as long as the tree is very healthy and it's moving along, don't panic. I mean, you can see they have rot that happens in a lot of different areas, but that's a significant area down at the base in the bowl of the tree. You really don't want to see that there, but the tree is happy. It's maintained itself. Who knows where that damage came from? It could have been from a critter. Some of them tend to gnaw on the trees, and I've had that happen. It could have been damage from, I don't think it's me on the tractor. I wouldn't have got that far into there. So that doesn't seem like it is. It's probably just a little wound, just like people have wounds, and the tree is gonna, it looks like it's handling itself. Just look at all of these beautiful blossoms gonna be coming on, and boy, when they open, boy, do they attract the pollinators, the bees and whatnot. That chicken, that rooster just started going nuts. He hears me talking, so he thinks he's got to just say something. Anyway, this right here is a kumquat tree. This here is a kumquat tree, and there's no flowers on this yet, but this handled the freeze. You can see, look, this is all the old kumquats, all dried and desiccated on there. They fall off, hit the ground. But it didn't lose its leaves like the other citrus trees did. And these are going to be later to have blossoms on it. It will have blossoms this year. You can see new growth coming on. So you can see some new growth happening. So it is going to have, look there, and right, let's see, right there, there's some new leaves at the tip of this, right, oops, my finger, right, oh gosh, can't get this, right there, right at the tip of my finger, that's new leaves coming on, and that's going to be all throughout this tree. You're going to be able to find that, and there's some right there, new stuff. And pretty soon it'll be putting on its flowers for the year. They're just later in development. Kumquats come later in the season. Here we have a Hamlin orange. Now, the orange, they're not as cold hardy as satsumas, and you can certainly see it here. This one lost all of its leaves, but it's really coming back. Oranges can handle some cold weather, and they will rebound pretty well. You can actually see right here, it has a flower on it right there, and I think I've seen one or two more. It might make more, it might not. Oranges are definitely very more finicky. Oranges are definitely more finicky than the satsumas are, but they'll be the next in the hardiness, on the hardiness scale for this zone that I'm growing. So they do pretty well. And this one I've had in the ground for about 4 years, and it's really grown significantly. It's grown significantly since I planted it, and I got a new one I'm getting ready to plant for this year. So nice. The Hamlin orange. This is a Hamlin. Some people call them Louisiana sweets. I didn't know that till this year. I didn't know they were the same tree. One thing you can look at, this whole branch is dead, so I'm gonna have to come get rid of it. And it's on this branch. I used to have it tied. There was some stressing going on right here, and you can see up to here it's growing new growth. But after here, I had cut that branch off, and this died too. So this isn't making anything new. Even though that looks very nice and alive, I don't see anything making. So I'm going to come and cut that off. You can also see where this had split in the winter. Look, you can see where that split in the winter. And actually, that's where you're going to have a lot of death of your branches occur. You can see where it just ripped apart the bark and stuff, the outside. And if I see any more, I can show you. I mean, you can see how these died off, and this died off to here. That's because of the freeze. There might be some splitting. I can show him. Oh, I don't see any immediately apparent. But let's move on to the next specimen here. And this would be, this is Meyer lemon. improved Meyer lemon. And I've had fits with this tree. I can't believe it's still alive. And I can't believe I cut this like this. This was really a mistake on my part. I cut this flat right here, right above this branch. I should have come higher. The reason I did that is if you can see all of the disease going on here, it lost its bark. I thought that was going to die. But it's coming back just fine. So you got to watch these things will heal themselves. You see this is dead all the way down into there, but it's still growing. So let's see if it heals itself. You can see how it healed itself over right here once before. So we're going to see what happens. You let them go. You let them do what they want to do and see what happens. And that tree wants to live. I will let it live and give it its chance. This branch right here is the one I'm keying in on that I want to save, and this one right here, and because they're low into the stem, so that's where this tree can heal the best and make its comeback. It can heal over. So we'll see if this tree actually makes it or not. This tree is actually about 5 years old. I keep saying actually. Do y'all actually understand what I'm saying? Anyway, this tree is older than the orange tree. It's just had a harder time. Lemons have a harder time sometimes in this zone than orange trees. These are some other satsuma trees, a little bit different in age and stage. But you can see all of these had lost their leaves. All of them are coming back beautifully. Beautifully. This one has no flowers on it that I can see. But that's okay, because it's going to put all of its energy into growth, which is great. This is one of the kind of median generations that I have on the property, and look, you can see it has blossoms coming out on it, quite a few actually, not as many as the older trees, but they definitely have them on here. And you can see in the upper parts of the tree that they have them up there. And just all around blossoms, beautiful leaves coming back, beautiful nice young first year leaves. These trees will generally hold their leaves year round if the freeze don't get them, but if the freeze comes on, they'll lose their leaves, and look, they'll put out just beautiful new foliage. So, and this here is another satsuma. The satsumas on this property are all wari satsumas. Very tasty satsumas. Brown Select are very similar. Brown Select, very, very similar. This is another satsuma here, and I think it has maybe, it has a couple blossoms here and there, a little couple flowers coming on way at the top over there, and then maybe one right there. So that looks like 3 that I can count, but here you go. Here's one, and there might be a few more on there. This tree is starting to really establish itself. Again, here we got some of that lichen growing on there. That's never good where you have that lichen growing on there. I think that's, if I remember my biology right, I think that's saprophytic. It has no, it's not symbiotic, because it gives no benefit to the tree, but it only takes benefit from the tree, nutrition. So what I do is then when I can, I just kind of try and pull that off that branch right there. That's a dead branch. But I'll come in here and try and physically remove some of that stuff. And there's sprays and stuff you can put on there, but a lot of the stuff is that would control that is a systemic spray, and systemic will get into the living parts of the tree, and you'll get that into the fruit, and you won't want to eat the fruit the year you spray it. And I'm not willing to have a year of not eating my fruit. Yeah. This is the twin to the other older tree, and this one is the second best satsuma producer on the property. This year it might be the best producer. It just looks beautiful. If you look at all the wonderful, beautiful new leaves coming out on here with a very large showing for blossoms and fruiting blossoms that's going to come on. They're just everywhere. I mean, they're all over this tree. Some branches hold a whole bunch more than others, but they're everywhere. So yeah, the citrus is this is how citrus can come back. People are very apprehensive about planting citrus in zone 8B, but look, these trees have been here for many years, and they're doing just fine. Let's move on to a tree that's having some problems. Okay, I always got to start over. So this is a tree that's sick, but this tree has been sick from not this year's freeze, but the previous year's freeze. And if you look at it, you can see where this has had some real hard goings, and that's some splitting bark. But this is actually healing area. You can see where it's healing over this sore it had. And you don't want to see this kind of bark splitting, but you can see where it's healing from splitting bark. Right here, it's healing. So this tree is making an effort to come back. And what you want to do is let it do what it's going to do. You can see this was a rotten branch, but this is new healing covering growth, and it's coming up this branch, which is still alive, and coming up. Look at all this beautiful growth on here, all the way up this branch, coming up right here, all the way up to the top, all the way up to there in the top. And look, even right here on this new branch, look at all this new stuff coming out. Beautiful. This tree is going to live just fine. It's going to take a year or two to really make a comeback, but it's going to do fine. Now look, this branch is a goner. I can tell it's got nothing green coming on it. It's dry and cracked on the branches. When you come up here, see how that's dry and cracked? The branch is dead. So I'm going to take it off kind of about right there. I don't want to get too close to the other trees like I did on that lemon tree, but I'm going to take this whole branch off because this branch is not alive. You can see how the bark split. It's not really healing. It's dead. So I want to get rid of that. And then there's some other branches that I want to do the same thing on. I think this one might be one that I need to get rid of. But see, it's attached and it had some hard times, but that's healing. Look, alive, little growth, but it's healing over. So this one didn't make it, but look, come up a little bit further. This one did, and this one did, but then this one didn't, and then that one doesn't look like it made. No, it didn't make it. So I'm gonna come cut all of this off and get rid of all the dead. And then the new branches are going to come in. It's going to heal. I'm going to take care of it underneath. I kind of wasn't tending to this one underneath. You got to keep it clear. You got to fertilize them. You got to keep them watered. The drought last year really made this tree suffer. And it was a freeze in late March of that year, last year. Then we had the drought all summer. And then we had another remarkable freeze this year, but only one, and it only happened for, I think we had like maybe 2 days of really cold weather. So they can handle that, but all of the stuff that it had to handle in the past year has really taken its toll on this tree. And even with that, this tree is coming back, and it's gonna, I'm very confident I'm very optimistic that it'll be a fruit producer again very soon. All right, one more tree to show. Well, actually, I got a couple more citrus trees to show. I got a couple over here that I'm going to be planting, and everything's just coming on. These coolish days right here just really seem to make everything pop. If it doesn't hurt them, it seems like it makes them even come out even more to the full exuberance that they should show. Here are two new citrus trees. Look at the flowers on this orange. That's a Hamlin orange. Look at the price on that, $39.99. I used to buy these for $15.99 when I first started planting citrus. I mean, even I think I would get them for $10.99 on sale. $40 for this tree. It's a beautiful tree. But it says Louisiana sweet orange. Well, the people at I think I mentioned this before, the people at the nursery said that's the same thing as a Hamlin. I mean, I'll find out. I like the tightness. If you look at the orange in the picture, I like the tightness, the thinness of the peel, and the tightness of the pulp in the middle. And it's none of that white stuff. It's not puffy and white. I don't really care for navel oranges. They got too much of that pithy white stuff to me. And this right here should be an Awori. Should be an Awori satsuma, because that's all I ever buy, really. Yeah, Awori satsuma. And look at the growth on this thing, and look, even flowers. Now, a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, take those flowers off. It's taken away from the growth of the tree." The tree will manage itself. I promise you, the tree will manage itself. And I'm going to go plant these very soon. In the today or next day or so, I'm going to plant these. So these are some beautiful new trees that's going to adorn the property. I'm going to use them to be a little bit of a hedge. My wife says she doesn't like looking at the barn from the kitchen window, so I'm going to plant them over there, kind of where the let's see. So that is the barn, right? The barn should be right there. And wait, I can't see in this. Okay, there's the barn right there. Yeah. So the barn's right there. So I'm gonna plant them somewhere up in this area right here. And that used to be a bunch of fig trees right there, but it was really too many for me, so I cut them back. Let's walk over there. We got one last citrus tree to look at anyway over there, so I can head that way and wrap this series up for y'all. Anyone that's interested in growing citrus trees, I hope this helps you make up your mind. Go ahead and give a chance. You know, if at $40 a pop, I don't know. It used to be, yeah. I used to when it was $15.99 a tree, I'd say, yeah, go ahead. But if you can propagate the trees or get a good deal on them, I say, heck yeah, go ahead and plant them in the ground. It saves you the hassle of pulling them in and out in pots. And these citrus can take big pots, and it's a hefty ordeal to pull them in and out of protective coverings, greenhouses, and indoor facilities when it gets too cold. That's what I was saying. This was the fig area. You can see how much I significantly cut these fig trees back. The deer are eating the heck out of these figs. I didn't know deer liked figs so much, but they're eating the heck out of these new fig leaves. And there's a couple little figs starting on there. There's one right there. I ain't gonna make this a fig production, but they had a lot of little figs coming out earlier that I saw. But I don't know, maybe it wasn't figs, maybe it was just buds. I was pretty sure I saw some figs, though somewhere I saw figs, but well, right now it's just not, they're not apparent to me. But But figs don't come on till July. You're not going to see ripe figs to July, and we're in March, so we still have plenty of time. And I cut back, so I'm planting those other 2 citrus trees right up in here. I got some blueberries over there. I might move one of those. But where you see some of these remnants of the fig graveyard right there, I think I'm going to let whatever's growing grow, and then citrus trees right along in there. Now here is the last citrus tree I have. This is again an approved Meyer lemon. I planted it here because I wanted to see if it would absorb the heat from the smokehouse with the west evening setting sun and do better. And actually, that mound of mud is a little high on that. See, that's some rootstock growing off of there. That rootstock, and then you cut that. Don't ever let that trifoliate stuff grow. See how it's trifoliate? See, it's 3 leaves, trifoliated. That's how you can tell if you see that, you lost your citrus tree. You have rootstock. But this thing had taken a pretty good beating, but see, it's not doing as bad as the one up in the front. And this is your younger tree. This tree is much younger than that other one. I've only had it in the ground, I think, 2 years, maybe 3. The other one's over 4 or 5 years. So this one's definitely younger, and it's actually doing better. There's that word again, actually. So it's doing better. And while I don't see any fruiting bodies, like fruiting flowers on it, ooh, ants. That ant hill has been here for as long as I can remember. I'm gonna have to get rid of that. But yeah, see, it's putting out new leaves all the way up to the top here, even right here at the tip of my thumb. That's a new leaf coming on. So it's gonna bud out new leaves. I'm hoping maybe it'll put out some fruiting flowers, but if not, to have everything go to rejuvenation of the tree, and maybe it'll grow and get more vigor into it. And then next year, 1 year, it's after a while. This is my take home for citrus. If you have a citrus and you get it going for 3 years and 3 good growing years. Now I know I said this one's 3 years old, but 3 good growing years to where it buds out, kind of how the orange tree look, and it starts really growing, thickening up. This one's starting to thicken up its base, its stalk. You're gonna see the trees more resilient through the winter. So if you can get them to 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7 years old, that's when your trees are also, all of a sudden you're gonna be like, okay, they're gonna make it. They're gonna do all right. But these trees are still babies, and as babies, you still gotta worry about them. So I hope that was a good little walkthrough with the citruses and the different ways they can come back. This improved Meyer lemon, it's having a little bit more time coming back, but as you can see, it is coming back. And I'll keep going at it. I'll keep trying. That's all you can ever do. One day, either it's going to toughen up or it's going to lose the battle. I'm hoping it toughens up with my help, and I'm getting lemons off of this one day. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Bye.